Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd, and this is the After Hours update. Still getting the hang of that introduction. This is the After Hours update for October 1st, Wednesday, October 1st. Happy UPTOBER, happy PUMPTOBER. I saw that little Pepe meme on X today, and I really liked it a lot. Pumptober. It's exciting with pumpkins being festive. But yeah, in this video, I am going to go through a few tickers that stand out to me. Some of them I have some personal interest in, so I'm going to dive into them, just kind of take you through my process. Hopefully it's helpful. I haven't really gone through them yet, so hopefully that makes things a little bit smoother, just, my stepwise process in trying to understand them. And if you are watching this after the fact, after the stream, please let me know in the comments if you like these kind of videos, like these kind of streams. I think it's just a nice way for me to cover more material and really just kind of give you my perspective and follow up. And speaking on that, I do have this poll up on the channel. There's a link in the description of the stream to the posts tab of the channel, and you can vote. I asked, should I do a Neo video tonight? So far, 13 votes, which is a lot for the channel, so thank you to those who participated, and all of them have been yes. I did say, though, in this, if I do a video, no crying is allowed. Nobody's said no. And the reason why I say that is because the last couple Neo videos that I did, I got a lot of comments. They were all very nice for the most part. But there are always just a couple that are, kind of, negative, mean, whatever. And, it's like the saying, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And, like that stuff, it's amazing how much, one mean comment really stings. But yeah, I would like to do that. I'm just sharing my perspective, and, like the channel is all about, it's just my thoughts on stocks. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing my perspective, and virtually every single time I'm going to be wrong. It's not going to go to the exact level that I talk about. It might go up first. It might go down first. And that's the same for everybody. Nobody is 100% right in the market. And in fact, they're pretty much 100% wrong. You can never sell the exact top. You can never buy the exact bottom. You just have to work with what you're given. And so I am just trying to, share my perspective, and hopefully it helps you to balance yours. But as always, none of this is financial advice, just me having fun. And speaking of fun, let's dive into the charts for Pumptober. I like that better than Uptober. I think it's more festive. But yeah, we can see here the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin so far today to start the month of October in the fourth quarter of 2025. Bitcoin is up over 3% so far on the day, and it actually looks like it broke above that 50-day SMA, consolidated, and then launched higher. So looking really good. And actually, if we look over at the highs from September 18th, we've actually put in a higher high now, although we haven't closed above that high. We are seeing a higher high, so that does look good. Also, we do have a higher low over here, so I think that looks good as well. And if I do throw up the drawings just to give you a little bit of perspective, some things that stand out to me. One is we broke above this orange trend line, so I think that's great. But we have not broken above this red trend line, so I think that could be acting as some resistance. Maybe we pull back to this orange one and then we start to go higher, or maybe we even pull back to that 50 SMA, which is around 113,600. So do keep that in mind. And then just to put it into perspective where these lines originate from, I'm just going to switch over to the weekly, step back in time. These are lines that I drew in the Crypto Corner Sat Stacker, which I do every single Saturday. And yeah, this goes, the orange line at least goes back to the highs from 2017. Intersects with the highs from 2021, as well as the highs from 2024 to 2025 over here. And, now we're above them for the orange line. And the red line originates from the tippy top highs from November of 2021, intersecting with the highs from 2024 and into January of 2025. We have traded above the red line before, but I think now we could be breaking above that act as support, and then we launch to new all-time highs. So I think that this is a great start to the final quarter of the year. UPTOBER, PUMPTOBER. I think things are looking great. Even with the government shutdown, things are doing well. And if we look back, like I went over yesterday, at the government shutdown from 2018 that lasted 35 days, the beginning of that shutdown was the dip buying opportunity that lasted for about 4 months, 4-month-long rally. So I think things could be looking great over here. Not going to go over them, but IBIT looked really good today. I'm nearly at break even with my calls there. And Mara looked good, but then it kind of pulled back some, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But I'm not going to go over Mara in this unless it is requested. Oh, and I should note, I am going to cap this stream at 30 minutes because I meant to do workout side yesterday, but I was tired. I went to get cookies instead. I got to do work outside after this. And so keeping it to 30 minutes will help that. And by the way, I forgot to mention, hey, Daniel, how's it going? Thanks for joining. I see your chat there. Saw it when I was getting the stream started. So yeah, thank you for joining again. And let's see, the Ethereum chart. This is one, also a link in the description of the video to my most recent Ethereum video. I do cover it every Saturday for Crypto Corner Sat Stacker, but this was just kind of like a renewal of my Ethereum thesis. Pulling back to test the levels here. So I think that looks good. It's a 4-minute video. It's only been watched 18 times. I'd encourage you to check it out. Link in the description, like I said. But yeah, Ethereum bounced from this level here, kind of like how I doodled, with the line and the arrow. But it is still below the 50-day SMA, which looks like it's currently at around $4,400. So maybe we see some resistance there, or maybe we consolidate around that level for a couple days before launching above, kind of like what happened with Bitcoin, consolidating just above that 50 SMA and then breaking higher. So we'll have to see about that with Ethereum. And speaking of Ethereum, I'm not going to get into the charts of the treasury companies, but I did real quick just want to pull up the strategic ETH reserve information over here. So what we can see for October 1st, Status sold a little bit of Ethereum. I don't really know anything about Status, so who cares? What we really want to know are the big players, which you can see right by Ed over here, Bitmine, SharpLink, the Ether Machine, and so on. And yeah, Bitmine Immersion did not buy today, but they did buy recently, and now their Ethereum holdings are now up to around $11.5 billion because ETH's price has gone up, so that is looking great. And Bitmine, if you are wondering, is ticker symbol BMNR. I do hold some shares of that. And then the number 2 on the list is SharpLink Gaming. This is ticker symbol SBET. I also own some shares of that, and I also own a call as well, which I believe I went over yesterday. And yeah, Bitmine Immersion is really, led by Tom Lee, whereas SharpLink Gaming is led by Joseph Lubin, who is one of the co-founders of Ethereum. So, yeah, nothing too exciting over here in the treasury space today, but generally, Bitmine holding a lot. SharpLink has not made any additions recently, so when they make their next addition, I think that could send them higher. Could be some pretty big news. And then just looking at the ETFs real quick. So this is from yesterday, September 30th. Usually there's a day lag in this data, but what we can see is ticker symbol ETHA or ETHA. That is the BlackRock iShares Ethereum ETF, and they added from the 30th, about 30.3 thousand Ethereum, which is valued at around $127.5 million. So good to see them adding, whereas the other ETFs have not been. So, nothing really too exciting. What I think is most exciting is what's actually going on in the chart. But speaking of exciting things, or maybe not so exciting things, I'm going to move over to the first ticker on the list, which is going to be SoFi. I did see a post on X about this yesterday, and basically about somebody buying the dip. And in my view, until proven otherwise, I think that this is not a dip. I think that this is a falling knife. we can just see this downtrend. Where is it going to stop? I did suggest this in a response yesterday on X, that it could be finding support around 26, as that does correspond with the highs from August. However, looking at the chart here, I am just noticing this now, we see that 50 SMA, which is around $24.78. So maybe coming down to sub 25, maybe bouncing there. But really, I mean, we see this come down a couple days. It's just putting in lower lows. So there is nothing to really suggest change of trend, that this is actually forming a bottom. So I think patience is a really big key here. And, is it a discount to buy at 26? Sure, relative to it being at 30, but it might be, much cheaper, sub 25, or maybe even coming a little bit lower. I actually see that there's a lot of support around here, around 22, and let's see, I think I said 18, 19. In the post as well. So here's some other levels here corresponding with the highs from January of 2025. So those are three levels that could potentially be acting as support again at 26, but we are trading below that. And so the next level down that I think could really get into some, meaty consolidation here would be around 22, and then coming down here to 18. And so to maybe, give some basis to these levels, let's do a real quick Fibonacci retracement to see where this could be coming down to. And so the 382 is right around 22 bucks, matches up with my level there, so that makes sense. And then the 50% down to the 618 kind of straddles the high that I have over here. The 50% is around 1950. The 618 is around 17 bucks. So really, let's think about this as like 18 plus or minus $1. I think that price could be coming down there, and that is the time that I would think that this is a great buying opportunity, or potentially great buying opportunity. Who knows? Things can change. And so for me, I do not have a position in SoFi. And part of the reason for that is because, when it was bottoming around here at 6, I thought it'd go a little bit lower, and I ended up getting left behind. And I feel like because of that, there's a little bit of emotional baggage for me. Like, I really like the stock. I was a little bit stubborn in my level back there. And yeah, it left me behind, so I don't want to chase. And so, very excited for those who hold, but I do think it could be pulling back some. But at the same time, it could be finding support here. And one way for us to get an idea about that is if we go to unusual whales. I'm just going to look at the flow feed over here. I'm going to clear my prior search, and we can just type in SoFi. Really, I just want to look at, whatever contract, because I want to look at the net call and put premium over here. And so what we see is net put premium went up by $2.5 million. So that suggests it's kind of bearish, whereas net call premium went up by about $350,000, which is, not really that much money relative to the net put premium. So if we actually what I might do is, because I don't care about this contract, I just wanted to look at this chart. I'm going to expand this so we can see the SoFi data on the full screen. And I'm just going to expand this back 7 days so we can see kind of, are there any real trends with this? The only real trend that I see is that the stock price in yellow has been coming down. As far as net call and put premium, it looks like there's been some pretty massive selling of calls over here, also corresponding with buying of puts, the red lines being above this horizontal line, the calls being below. And the low for the calls over here, which did not end the day so negative, but the low over here was negative $5.5 million. So yeah, I mean, but the days didn't end super extreme. There were dips and then pullback, spike and then pullback. But generally, yeah, the stock price has come down. And the other thing that I did want to look at, actually two other things, because there are these tabs up here. We can look at insider transactions. And so let's see, as this loads, there has been some selling. It looks like this green one was a grant to the chief technology officer, but otherwise it's primarily been selling. So, maybe that is, kind of a suggestion that the at least short-term top is in. And then if we do look over at the Greeks over here, if this does respond to my click, we can see that the max pain for this upcoming Friday on the 3rd is $27. And with the price now below 26, this max pain closing, or at least being now so much lower than that, that could just serve to kind of suppress the price down. But, max pain can change every single day. Then next week on the 10th, max pain is $26.50. And then the following week for the monthly contracts in October, it's $25. So that does really make me think that, price is probably going to be going down to at least 25, but maybe I'm wrong about that. It's all just my opinion. Take it all with a grain of salt. But then continuing on with the next one on the list over here, we're going to look at Peloton, ticker symbol PTON. This is one I kind of talked about, I believe, on Monday as well as a little bit yesterday, talking about basically how the Bronx Viking on X was posting some unusual options data, unusual whales data, suggesting that Peloton could be going towards $10, if not notably higher. And so we have seen a little bit of a pullback today. It actually came down about 3.67%, coming down 0.33 or 33 cents, $0.33. But with that, we do see this big wick down here, and that was kind of bought up. And so, this was actually a surprise for me because I had a buy order for a contract that I forgot about. I thought it was going to cancel at close yesterday. It didn't. And so I just forgot about it, and it filled today. And so now I have one of those contracts. And so I thought I'd pull that up so we can look at it. And actually, let's see, I'm just going to open up a new tab, go to unusual whales. And from the flow data, we can go to contract lookup. That should have some of my bookmarks. And let's see, what am I looking at? I'm going to sort this by alphabetical. And we can see, is there Peloton here? There's no Peloton here, so maybe on the TRL Peloton. Yes, which one did I get a fill on? I believe it was... Let's see, I'm going to check my phone so I can pull up that one. It was the $12 call. So I got a fill this morning at 33 cents. I placed it there because the day before, you can see the low is 36 cents. I was going to just forget about it and move on, but I had that order placed and I forgot about it. It got filled at 33 cents. I decided to buy another one at 22 cents. The low for the day was 20 cents. And so now my average is 27.5 cents or 27.50 times 2 because each contract represents 100 shares. So risking $55 on this. Not going to put any more into it. It did bounce some, but yeah, if my average is 27.50, that's about, kind of where the average is with this contract. But I wanted to look at this data over here. Let's expand that just like we did with SoFi. Over the past 7 days, again, it's been kind of up and down. Maybe this is consolidation, like a bull flag. If we look at the past 14 days, there isn't necessarily a ton of clear signals that's going up and down. But let's see, go back to the 7 days here. Net call premium up 1.9 million. The next day up about a million, but then down about 720,000 in that net call premium. So yeah, maybe this is a bad decision. Maybe it's reckless, but I can manage to lose $55. Not a big deal. Let's look at those insider transactions, though, just so we can get an idea of that. Again, just like SoFi, looks like there's a lot of selling, so maybe this is not going to be making a big move to the upside. And then if we do, though, look at the Greeks, we can see the max pain for this coming Friday is 850, and then 850 next Friday, and then 7, and then 8 again. So this could be pulling back some. I don't have any shares, and I am probably going to regret not exiting that position, but at the same time, maybe there's a rip your face off rally, and I take profits. 20%. I don't have too much conviction. I don't really care too much about Peloton. I'm just kind of intrigued by, let's see, some of these drawings that I had done before. There's this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and maybe this is going to break higher. So yeah, I just find that to be interesting. But anyways, I'm taking too much time rambling about these. The next two I kind of wanted to mention. The next one just wanted to mention to set up the next stock, but this is Lithium Americas, ticker symbol LAC. We recently found out that the U.S. government is, I believe, buying or now a part owner of Lithium Americas. I think just to secure, the lithium for batteries and whatnot for U.S. use. So that's, I think, a good thing, but also kind of weird that the government's buying private stocks. Private companies, or I guess publicly traded. I don't know. I don't know enough about whether that's good or bad to really comment on it. But what we did see here was a big gap up. And after this had happened, I was like, dang it, I remember I had previously traded Lithium Americas, and I had, but actually what I was thinking about was not Lithium Americas, because there was AI moving, there was lithium and batteries moving, and I was like, well, dang it, I feel like I missed the boat on that. What's kind of next in line in that kind of same energy tech space? Well, it's probably going to be rare earth elements. And so at that time, I had, basically charted this out. There's a link in the description of the video to my most recent USAR video when I talked about it breaking out from this wedge, and it did launch just after I put out that video. I'm not sure on which day exactly. Maybe it was, around the end of July. The price went up about 75%, so pretty massive, but then it pulled back again. And so I wanted to go over, do I think this is breaking out, or where do I think it's going to go to? And so looking at the chart here, what we can see is this fib retracement goes from the low here, then up to the high. You can see it's lined up over here with that high. It had pulled back to the 786 around 1086. If I do the exact same thing over again, but from here, going up to the high here, I'm just going to drag it forward so we can see it a little bit better. It had pulled back to, let's see, it actually pulled back a couple times. Pulled back to the 618, the yellow line there, and bounced. Then broke a little bit below it, but did not quite get to the 786 like it did over here. Actually found support around that 50-day simple moving average, and then it started to go higher. And then just to clean this up to make it so, actually, maybe what I'll do is, I guess I'll just, I don't know. I don't want it to be too cluttered, but, we can see that there it did come back to those levels. And so now I had actually meant to delete this, so I'm just going to draw it up for you guys fresh. Wanted to do the same type of thing. Is it going to come back to the 786 or the 618 or maybe the 50% retracement? And so what we can do is just line it up with the lows over here, bring it up to the highs. And it looks like on this big green candle, it had pulled back to the 618, or at least it bounced from right around there. And then shortly after, so on the 30th, so yesterday, it nearly got to that 50% retracement there, the green line that's around 1621. Yesterday, the low is $16.30. And what I actually wanted to do, I believe I did this somewhere, but I wanted to draw this to the exact pennies, because I believe, one of these levels I think will be 1622. So the low over here was 1337. So I'm just going to adjust that here, 1337. And then the high over here on the 25th of September was 1908. So just adjust that there, and that is locked in place. And we can see that the 50% is at 1622. And I actually placed a buy order today for 1622 just to get 10 shares. And because, I think that this could be breaking out, but maybe I'm wrong. 10 shares is a small position, but, it's more than one share. But, thinking about that, I think that we've just, kind of been testing, right around here for some time. I do think that it will be breaking out, breaking higher. And one way we can get to that is by pulling up a Fibonacci extension. So going from the low here up to the high, and then let's just pull back to that 618, and that would be suggesting price could be going to around $21. But we could also, adjust this to be lower over here. That would just suggest a bigger move. But anyways, I think that this is potentially breaking out. And one way, maybe a better way for me to illustrate that, be to go from the high over here that was hit on March 17th, intersect with the highs over here, maybe get some wick pierces, but not going through at the candles. And so I mean, I think that, looking at that trend line, we can see that maybe it's getting ready to break out. Like this is kind of an ugly inverse head and shoulders pattern, or this is just like a little cup and handle over here. So this is one that, if missed the boat on LAC, maybe USAR is a good one to pick up. But yeah, that's been about 25 minutes. So kind of a long dive in there. I'm just going to try to stream for 5 more minutes so I can actually do some work outside. But I will pull up the chats. It looks like not too many people have joined today, but I do see Daniel there. So this was his greeting message at the beginning. See you at 5 Eastern. And so he's saying Peloton vying for commercial success. Yeah, and I think there was actually some news on them that, let's see, Peloton over here. Let's see. I don't know what this, okay, yeah, cool news. I'm not really used to looking at stuff in TradingView, so this is a good thing for us to do. So key facts from TradingView is that Peloton Interactive shares fell 8.7% after announcing a product overhaul, including the AI system, Peloton IQ, and significant price hikes for equipment and membership fees. So yeah, that's kind of, like a bad news type of thing, although it could just be an overreaction initially that, people have to pay more, but then it gets digested a couple days later. Like I feel like Netflix goes through stuff like that a lot. We can also see here from Dow Jones Newswires that Peloton launches new product line and introduces AI system. The stock is falling sharply, and so I guess that actually comes from Barron's.com. And so, why Peloton stock is nosediving. We could look into that if we wanted to, but I don't want to get too much into the nitty-gritty details. Peloton raises membership prices, rolls out new equipment. Yeah, so not too surprising. But yeah, I mean, generally, I'm going to hold those calls, but I might place limits for 20% profit. And so we could see, what that is if we do $27.50, because that's the price per one contract, 100 shares per contract at 27.5 cents average. And so if we just multiply that by 1.2, that would be a 20% profit. And so that would be, at 33. And that's what I actually bought my first contract at. And so let's see, 33 minus 27.5 is $5.50 times 2, because I have 2 contracts. That's not really super exciting, but, that's a 20% profit. And that's managing risk. The contracts do expire in November, and that makes me a little bit anxious. That's, next month. But everybody has to work with their emotions, manage them the way that suits them best. And for me, this is just one that I wasn't expecting to buy it. I was surprised to see it. And so I might do that. I might not. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, if we do look over at the that contract, we can see that it closed right around $26, or candle premium for that's one contract, $26. And actually, it's very interesting. You can see the candle volume of 1 there. Maybe we can see my orders. So I got this candle volume of 3. Let's see, candle volume of 1 at 23, but I got one at 20. Let's see, at 22. Maybe it's over here. 23. Nope. Yeah. So not too much going on with this contract specifically, but yeah. And so if there are any I guess last minute requests. I'll go over them, but it's been 29 minutes of the stream. I would be happy to go over, any of them on the list. I guess one that, I hold some contracts in that also expire in November, so I'm a little bit anxious about them. But iBit really took off, and my contracts are nearly at break even, which, maybe I should trim. Maybe, Bitcoin, let's see, will be pulling back after this move, as I kind of suggested at the beginning, pulling back to retest and then go higher. And then one thing, I did just scroll all the way up here. Why don't we take a quick look at AMC? Let's see, where did it close at? Closed at 295, was spending some time above 3 today, but unfortunately couldn't hold above. But it does look like we got another close above that 50 SMA, so that is good. I'm just going to remove the drawing so we can see that a little bit cleaner. That blue line there is at 292, and we closed 3 cents above it. After hours is 1 cent higher. But yeah, big wicks to the upside, kind of suggesting some rejection there. But what we're seeing here is, not too much volume and not too wide of a spread in that candle there. So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe this is, starting to potentially get towards breaking out. But I should note too, the last video that I did on AMC, I talked about it coming down potentially to 290 or 280. And what happened? What was the low on Friday, September 26th? The low was 280. I had an order and it did not get filled. That's how it happens. But yeah, maybe that is the bottom. Maybe not, though. Maybe we sweep the lows in a few days. And yeah, it would not be super surprised either way if it started to move to the upside or started to roll over. So good to, have a plan for that. But yeah, since I don't see much else going on in the chat, I'm probably just going to keep these to 30-minute streams for the rest of the week. But I can see that, the list that I had, maybe I should spend less time on Bitcoin and Ethereum at the start, and then maybe just limit to 1 or 2 tickers rather than include a list of 4. Even if I go over them briefly, I tend to ramble on about them. And also, I should note, in addition to, let's see, the Neo video that I'll be putting out tonight, I'm also going to try to open up a power pack because it is Wednesday. Wednesdays are for GameStop, and so that should just be, kind of a nice, fun thing. And I guess I'll show you guys here if you're curious. I did open this. This is a shiny Outpost card from the Cardsmiths, and the space pack, and I think I could maybe sell that for like 10 or 20 bucks, but I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of it. But yeah, I'll be opening up a power pack. It should be a $50 power pack tonight, so that should be fun. And let's just see what Daniel has to say here. Okay, you earned your fruity beer. Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I've got a sand, a bunch of siding, and I probably won't actually be consuming anything that's fun tonight. Because I'll be doing that Neo video and the, the GameStop power packs. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. I'm going to pull back the charts so I'm not ending on a weird thing with, Bitcoin, UPTOBER, PUMPTOBER. As always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And I'm going to be trying to do these streams every weekday moving forward. And yeah, I'll see you guys later in videos tomorrow for a stream at